Let me tell you about the time I walked on fire. It was the summer of 2019 and I decided to go to India to visit my family for about 6 weeks. During my time there, I'd also take part in an internship. And this internship was great. It was just enough time that I didn't feel like I was doing nothing, but also gave me enough time to ride the vast metro system of Delhi and visit a bunch of really cool places which I otherwise wouldn't have been able to visit. During the first week of this internship, however, they invited me to a corporate event that they were hosting. Now, the company I was doing an internship with was a mutual fund firm, and they essentially sell products via retail banks to customers. But they have to persuade the retail banks to tell their customers to buy our products instead of our competitors' products. And so when they invited me to this event, I thought, wow, that's really cool. I might have to help out a bit, maybe set a few things up, but it'll be quite nice. There'll be some free food and it could be quite educational, so I was all up for it. And so that evening, I went, as I go to work usually, on a rickshaw, which is actually quite cool because we go on basically this motorway and it's this guy in his flip-flops riding a cycle on the lane of the motorway. But anyway, yeah, take the rickshaw to the metro station, ride the metro, reach there. It's a 4-star hotel, so pretty nice, better than I was expecting, and I get taken up to a big banquet hall, but it's all set up already. I'm wondering, I thought that was my job, and I've actually come early. But anyway, I go along with it. I ask my boss if there's anything I need to do, and she's like, no, that's fine. You can just sit here for the minute, someone else will come, and he'll give you some tasks that perhaps you could do to help out. I was like, okay, cool, this is great. So when the guy finally arrives, he gathers us all in a group, and he starts unpacking his things. And he starts delegating out the tasks to do. And obviously this whole time he's speaking in Hindi, being in India, and he starts with some random ones, normal ones, and then he says diesel as one of the tasks, and I'm just thinking, that's really weird. I didn't think diesel would be something task, but maybe I'm mishearing, maybe it means something else in Hindi that I'm just not aware of. And then he says coal, and I'm just thinking, this is really weird. If you look back at the banquet hall room, there's a poster which says impossible to I'm possible. Firstly, that's hilarious. But secondly, there was a guy with fire behind him, and I'd only just started to realise now that that could actually be a possibility. I feel like people would have told me that before I'd come, but I guess not, because it was happening. So, the rest of the event goes on pretty smoothly. There are a few speeches, quite informative, quite cool, and basically they're just trying to persuade people to take more risk, because essentially that's what the products are. They're more risky investments to perhaps just putting your money in some savings account or something like that. So I guess the fire thing makes a bit of sense. They're going to have some performers who are going to come in and do some risky stuff just to basically show that, doing risky things can be rewarding sometimes. And he gave me the task of clearing people out of the way, basically. But then it all takes a bit of a turn, because I'm sort of just double checking about all the things, because I don't seem to see any performers. And they said, oh, have you never done a fire walk? And I was like, no. And my boss goes, oh no, yeah, no, all of us have done this before. Actually, most of us have done it a few times before. Do you want to give it a try? And I was like, maybe. I didn't want to seem like I don't want to do it, but at the same time I was like, gosh, stepping on fire, that sounds awful. Also, how is that safe? People started going, it all seemed fine. About 10 people went, my colleagues, they'd obviously done it before. The guy did brief us and he says, obviously, this is quite dangerous. He said to hold your hands out like this, look straight forward. It was the psychology of if you look down, then you're more likely to trip up. And so one by one, people queued up, and it was quite a big queue. I wasn't expecting everyone to be immediately just going for it. And then my boss pulls me in, and she's like, if you want to go, then you should go now. Like, come in the queue behind me. Otherwise, you'll be here for ages and just watching everyone. You might not be able to go at the end. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. When am I going to get this opportunity again? So there I was. I waited my turn, and I did it. And it didn't actually hurt. It didn't even feel hot, to be honest. Because it's so quick, you're basically running across the coals. You don't really feel it that much. But someone notified me there was a bit of dust on my foot. And obviously it's quite hot, so I brushed it off. That took about 5 seconds, but what I didn't realise was in that time, like that small bit of my foot had been burnt to a crisp, like really badly burnt. And I had no idea at the time. They asked me, are you okay? I said, yeah, don't worry, I'll be fine. And like they gave everyone, they gave me a small little tube of Colgate toothpaste, and like, oh, if anything's sore or if it's feeling hot, or if it burns, just lather a bit of that on. So I went to the toilet, I put some of the toothpaste on. Obviously I have a duty to do. So I go back, I was watching everyone go across, most people were fine, nothing really happened. And then the CEO of the company we were hosting for came along, and she actually fell into the coal. And so immediately everyone panicked, because obviously she was probably the most important person at this event, and she'd just been injured quite badly. And I don't expect anyone to be happy about this, but she was making quite a big tantrum, as is her right, to be fair. But everyone was attending to her, they gave special ointment, like not just the toothpaste that all of us had got. And in hindsight, maybe I should have taken some of that ointment for my foot, knowing that it probably wasn't gonna just be fine. But, you know, whatever, it happened. And yeah, so after all of that calms down a bit, she's obviously still receiving treatment and whatever from the main person. And everyone's queuing up to get food. The food was really good, by the way, so at least it wasn't a waste. But yeah, filled to my brim, and I felt accomplished. You know, I'd done something that I'd never have thought of doing, but I was glad I did it at the time. And so they had a photographer as well, and so they took a picture of all of us, and I was not going to leave there without a picture, because without the picture, to be honest, I might not have even done it. If there's no proof of me doing it, then what's the point really? But I got my picture, then I left, and on my way back home, I really realised that this was perhaps not the best thing to have done. And as I was coming back and I was really hobbling, it wasn't the best. I straight away, I told my uncle, I was like, no, we need to go get medication as soon as we can. And so we treated it, and it was bad. I'm not sure how burns are classified, but it was either a second or a third degree burn. Fortunately and unfortunately, I actually got a stomach bug, which meant that I was basically bedridden anyway. And so I took time off work because of that, and that actually helped my foot to heal a lot. Because if I'd been walking and going into work, it would have got a lot worse, but this actually gave it some time to heal. How I actually got the stomach bug is quite funny. We went exploring, me and my cousin, to a museum, and then after we went to get food. But in between us leaving and getting food, there was a big rain shower, because obviously it was monsoon season. And so we ended up eating in this restaurant, which was flooded with water, like a swimming pool. And I think I got the stomach bug there because maybe they didn't maintain their standards of hygiene the same when there's a big monsoon. But yeah, it took a few weeks to heal, more than I would have liked, but I also probably didn't rest as much as I should have. Let me know if you like these sort of storytime videos. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.